Video opens on a hyper-detailed, black and white ink drawing. A colossal, winged beast, Zod, sits alone on a mountain of skulls. He looks bored, his horned head resting on a massive fist. The wind blows dust across the macabre throne. The silence is heavy, ancient. There is a sickness of the soul that does not come from defeat, but from victory. It is a quiet poison that seeps in not when you are at your weakest, but when you believe you are at your strongest. It is the spiritual paralysis that follows the realization that you have no more mountains to climb, no more demons to slay, no more true threats on your horizon. We will call this affliction the Zod syndrome. It is the curse of the apex predator who finds himself alone at the top of the food chain, with nothing left to hunt but time itself. Stay with me through this meditation, and I promise you this. You will learn to recognize the gilded bars of this cage in your own life. And you will be given the key to unlocking it. You will understand that the ultimate trap is not failure, but a life devoid of a worthy struggle. The image slowly zooms in on Zod's weary, ancient eyes. They hold a profound, 300-year-old boredom. You know the feeling. Perhaps you don't have a mountain of skulls, but you have your own monuments to past victories. The promotion you bled for. The degree you earned through sleepless nights. The personal record you shattered in the gym. You fought, you bled, you conquered. And then, the silence. The echo of the battle fades, and the stillness that follows is not peaceful. It is hollow. You stand at the summit, and you find the air is thin, the view strangely dissatisfying. The fire that drove you, that forged you in its crucible, now flickers and wanes, starved of fuel. Have you ever felt it? That dangerous cocktail of pride and boredom? You look at the challenges others face, and a subtle contempt takes root. Their struggles seem small. Their ambitions, quaint. You've been there, done that. You offer advice from your lofty perch, but you feel disconnected, a ghost haunting the halls of your own achievements. Consider the programmer who becomes the senior developer. At first, there is pride. But soon, the work becomes routine. He solves problems he has solved 100 times before. He is the expert, the one everyone turns to, but he himself has no one to turn to. He is no longer learning, no longer stretching, no longer on that razor's edge of incompetence where true growth occurs. He is merely performing. His skills, once sharp as a surgeon's scalpel, are now just a blunt instrument for repetitive tasks. This is the hidden cost of the Zod syndrome. The price of an unchallenged existence is not peace, it is atrophy. The muscle that is not torn by heavy weight withers away. The blade that is not sharpened against a whetstone rusts and dulls. And the spirit that is not tested by a formidable adversary becomes brittle. You become a monument to who you once were, a custodian of a museum of past glories. The longer you remain on this plateau of competence, the more you fear the climb, because you have forgotten the feeling of the harsh rock under your fingertips, the burn of the ascent in your lungs. You have become safe. And in that safety, you have begun to die. A new illustration appears. A younger, more ferocious Zod in the heat of a forgotten battle, a savage grin on his face as he tears through an army. The image is vibrant with violence and life. To understand the cure for this living death, we must descend from the lonely peak and enter the blood-soaked theater of war. We must consult a creature who has suffered this spiritual malady for 3 centuries, a being for whom victory became a monotonous, meaningless ritual. We must speak of Nosferatu Zod. Zod the Immortal. For 300 years, Zod wandered the battlefields of the world as a god of slaughter. He sought not territory, not gold, not power. He sought only one thing, the ecstasy of a true fight. But he was too strong. Armies were but weak for his side. Legendary warriors were children with wooden swords. Each victory was another layer of dust on his soul, another confirmation of his utter, unbearable solitude. His immortality was not a gift of eternal life, but a sentence of eternal repetition. Zod's long, agonizing search for a worthy opponent was a desperate pilgrimage for meaning itself. He was not looking for someone to defeat. He was looking for someone who could possibly defeat him. In Zod's bloody quest lies the philosophical solution to our own stagnation. His story illuminates 3 core principles that we, the strugglers, must etch into our minds. First, the principle of the whetstone. A blade is defined by its edge. Its purpose, its very identity, is its sharpness. But a blade cannot sharpen itself. It requires an external, abrasive force, a whetstone, to grind away its imperfections and reveal the keen edge within. Your will, your intellect, your skills, they are all blades. Left alone in the velvet-lined box of your comfort zone, they will grow dull. Zod, for centuries, was a legendary sword with no whetstone to test its steel. He was becoming a relic. When he finally clashes with Guts, and later the Skull Knight, when he feels the shock of a blade that can match his own, a will that does not break before him, he is not enraged. He is alive. For the first time in centuries, he has found his whetstone. Second, the paradox of immortality. We chase longevity. We build routines for health, we invest for a long retirement, we dream of a legacy that will outlive us. We crave a form of immortality. But Zod's existence is a chilling cautionary tale. It teaches us that the quality of a life is measured not by its duration, but by the intensity of its struggles. An eternity of meaningless victories is a hell far more profound than a short, brutal life lived with purpose. What gives life its flavor, its texture, its meaning, is the ever-present possibility of defeat. It is the friction of opposition that allows us to feel our own existence. Zod's curse was to be deprived of that friction. He was a phantom of strength, haunting a world that could not challenge him. And third, the gravity of arrival. Before meeting Guts, Zod's existence was chaotic and aimless. He drifted from battle to battle, a force of nature without direction. But the moment Guts scars him, the moment he meets a mortal who refuses to bow to his legend, his universe gains a new center of gravity. Guts becomes his focal point. The prophecy of the God Hand, his fated encounters with the Black Swordsman, these things give his immortal life a narrative, a purpose. A true rival is a North Star for your ambition. They are the mirror that shows you your weaknesses, the benchmark that proves your growth, the external force that compels you to transcend your self-imposed limits. A worthy opponent saves you from yourself. They give your struggle a name, a face, and a direction. Think of it this way. A great white shark must constantly swim forward to force water over its gills, to breathe. If it stops, it drowns. It dies. You are that shark. Your life, your spirit, depends on forward momentum against a current of resistance. To believe you have arrived, to rest on your achievements, to sit atop your mountain of skulls in quiet satisfaction, is to stop swimming. The Zod syndrome is the slow, placid suffocation of the soul that has ceased its struggle. The visual shifts. We see a close-up of a blank journal and a pen, rendered in the same stark, detailed art style. The shadows are deep and heavy. To know the malady is the first step. To cure it requires action. The philosophy of the whetstone must be made practical. It is not enough to understand the trap, you must build the tools to escape it. Here are 4 concrete techniques to break the chains of the Zod syndrome and reintroduce the sacred element of struggle into your life. Do not just listen to these words. Inscribe them onto your will. 1. Conduct the rivalry audit. Tonight, when the world is quiet, sit down with a pen and paper. This is not a task for a glowing screen. This requires ink and intention. At the top of the page, write, "My worthy rival." Now, you must ask yourself, with brutal honesty, who, or what, is my Guts? What is the force in my life that demands I become more than I am today? This rival does not need to be a person. It can be a past version of yourself you are determined to surpass. It can be a creative master, living or dead, whose work humbles and inspires you. It can be a competing business whose relentless innovation forces you to adapt or die. It could be an intellectual concept you cannot yet grasp, a language you have not yet mastered, a fear you have not yet faced. Be specific. Give it a name. My rival is my 5-year-ago self, who is more disciplined. My rival is the programming language I don't understand. My rival is the writer whose prose I envy. Define the whetstone. Without a defined opponent, you are just swinging your sword at the air. 2. Engineer honorable defeats. Our society is obsessed with winning. We are taught to avoid failure at all costs. This is the path to stagnation. You must reverse this programming. You must deliberately and strategically seek out arenas where you are likely to lose. Engineer honorable defeats. If you are the most skilled person in your martial arts class, sign up for a tournament in a higher belt category. The goal is not to win the medal, but to be humbled by a superior opponent. To feel the sting of their technique and have it illuminate the gaps in your own. If you are a celebrated musician in your hometown, go to a city known for its musical geniuses and play in an open mic night. Let their skill be a mirror to your complacency. Zod felt a flash of savage joy when Guts wounded him. For the first time in an age, he felt a challenge. He smiled. You must learn to smile at the evidence that you are not yet complete. An honorable defeat is not a failure. It is data. It is fuel. It is a signpost pointing you toward the summit you didn't even know existed. 3. Adopt the apprentice's mindset. The Zod syndrome is born from the expert's curse, the belief that you have nothing left to learn. The antidote is to consciously adopt the apprentice's mindset, especially in the areas where you are considered a master. The master believes he knows all the answers. The apprentice is hungry for the right questions. Each week, dedicate time to being a beginner again. Pick up the book written by your intellectual rival and read it with an open mind, searching for the flaws in your own arguments. Find someone you know is better than you at a specific skill, negotiation, public speaking, weightlifting, and ask them, with genuine humility, to teach you. Say the 3 hardest words for an expert to utter: I don't know. Actively seek out and thank those who offer you harsh, constructive criticism. A true friend is not the one who always agrees with you, but the one who serves as your whetstone, who has the courage to grind against your ego to sharpen your character. 4. Redefine your idea of victory. The final technique is an internal one, a shift in your entire philosophy. You must change your definition of what it means to win. The Zod-like victory is a destination. I have defeated all my enemies. The struggle is over. This is the definition that leads to the hollowed throne on the mountain of skulls. A struggler's victory is a process. I faced an opponent who forced me to summon every ounce of my will, my courage, and my creativity. And in that crucible, whether I won or lost the external battle, I forged a stronger version of myself. The prize is not the trophy. The prize is the transformation the struggle demands of you. Frame your goals not around the outcome, but around the quality of the opponent you choose to face. Do not ask, what can I win? Ask, what battle is worthy of me? What struggle will force me to become who I need to be? The victory is in choosing the right war. The image changes. A breathtaking, panoramic shot of Zod and Guts clashing mid-air, a whirlwind of kinetic energy and raw power. Zod is in his apostle form, Guts in the berserker armor. It is a meeting of 2 unstoppable forces. Does this path truly lead to a more vital life? Does seeking a rival truly save us from the abyss of stagnation? For proof, we need only look at the arc of Zod the Immortal himself. Before he meets Guts, Zod is a creature of pure nihilism. He exists without purpose. His slaughters are meaningless, reflexive actions, like a storm that passes through a village. There is no narrative to his existence, only a series of disconnected, bloody episodes. He is powerful, but he is a historical footnote, a myth whispered by terrified soldiers. But after his fated encounter on the Hill of Swords, everything changes. The moment Guts' blade bites deep into his flesh, a story begins. Zod is no longer just a monster. He is a character in a grand, unfolding drama of causality and fate. He has a counterpart, a mortal obsession. His encounters with Guts and the Skull Knight become the pivotal moments of his long life. He is no longer just a bored god seeking a thrill. He is an actor on a stage, a gatekeeper, a rival with a vested interest in his opponent's survival and growth. He saves Guts at the Tower of Rebirth. He fights alongside him against Ganishka. Why? Because a world without Guts, a world without his whetstone, would be a return to the gray, meaningless eternity he endured for so long. The struggle gave his immortal life a plot. Guts became his reason. This is not mere fantasy. This principle is woven into the fabric of human progress. Consider the Roger Bannister effect. For all of human history, the 4-minute mile was considered an unbreakable physiological barrier. It was a law of nature. Then, on May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister, driven by his intense rivalry with the Australian runner John Landy, achieved the impossible. He ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. But the real proof is what happened next. The psychological barrier was shattered. Just 46 days later, his great rival, John Landy, also broke the 4-minute mark. Within a few years, it became the standard for elite runners. The rivalry, the desperate push to overcome a worthy opponent, did not just elevate one man. It elevated the potential of the entire human species. Their struggle redefined the limits of what was possible. The logic is undeniable, for it is the logic of life itself. The scientific principle is called hormesis, a beneficial effect resulting from exposure to a low dose of an agent that is otherwise toxic at higher doses. A little poison can make you stronger. A muscle must be subjected to the stress of a heavy load, creating microscopic tears, in order to grow back stronger and more resilient. Your immune system must be exposed to pathogens to learn how to fight them. Your spirit is no different. A life without stress, without challenge, without a worthy opponent to tear at the fibers of your being, is a life without the necessary catalyst for growth. It is a life that violates the fundamental laws of nature. The Zod syndrome is simply the name we give to the spiritual decay that is the inevitable result of this violation. To seek a life of comfort and ease is to seek a slow, comfortable death. The struggler knows that to live is to fight. Final image. A close-up on the viewer's perspective. You are standing at the base of an impossibly tall, jagged mountain, wreathed in mist. The path upward is treacherous but clear. A single, determined foot is placed on the first stone. You now stand at a crossroads. One path leads to the comfortable plateau, the throne of past victories, the quiet, hollow silence of the Zod syndrome. The other path leads back down into the valley, toward the shadow of a new mountain, a new rival, a new and worthy struggle. The choice is yours alone. But the law of the universe is clear. Life is motion. The spirit is a blade. It is either being sharpened, or it is rusting away. In the desolate expanse of the comments below, I want you to make a declaration. Answer this. Who, or what, is your worthy rival? Name the force that you will allow to sharpen your blade. Is it a person, a goal, a memory of who you once were, or an idea that haunts you? I will read your vows. If these words resonate with the warrior in your soul, if you recognize this place as a fortress against the coming darkness, then you have found your sanctuary. Subscribe to this channel. Join the ranks of the strugglers, and let us fortify our will together. Zod's curse was the trap of having no rival. But there is another, darker curse, the curse of choosing a rival so all-consuming that it threatens to devour your very identity. To understand that precipice, you must now watch our analysis of the bond between Guts and Griffith, in our session titled, The Eclipse of the Self. When your rival becomes your god. Now, go, and choose your war.